Hi everyone, and welcome back. Wait, you might be wondering if you skipped ahead a few videos. 40 pounds? How did that happen? No, you've clicked on the right video. And that's right, I am down 40 pounds since posting my original weight. Now let's get up to speed. One of the nice things about starting a new channel is that I have been able to play around and to decide how I want to jump into my story. And after giving it some thought, I decided watching me lose a couple of pounds a week may not be the most interesting and fast-paced thing to watch. Kind of like this. But in reality, that is what weight loss can truly be like. And I'm all about seeing every pound as a personal victory and a celebration on the scale. Despite that, I saw benefit in getting my footing, shedding a few pounds, and getting some experience with intermittent fasting. So that's the approach I've decided to take. That and so that I could share the nitty-gritty of what goes into it and how I've been able to make the 40-pound weight loss happen. Let's start with my weight loss reality. The gorgeous weight loss on the left is what we all aspire to experience. A nice and steady decline versus what really happens on the right, weight fluctuations. But if we keep putting in the work, it also comes along with a persistent weight drop. I manually track my weight in different apps like Apple Health, the Fitbit app, but the one on the left is synced to my scale, and it's the one that I hop on a daily basis. It sees all of the upswings after a day of less than stellar eating and also normal hormonal fluctuations. And in reality, there are so many reasons that I have personally encountered that result in an uptick on the scale. More on that later. As you can see, I have experienced a consistency and never seen the same number twice on the scale. I have also experienced the full array of emotions that comes along with that. That's right. The scale and I have gotten to a better place. Like, we're friends now. We don't blame each other when that number goes up, and the goal always stays the same. A bonus to getting some experience under my belt is that I have experienced a monster of a plateau, and I've come out on the other side. I've also experimented with a continuous glucose monitor, using myself as a guinea pig to understand how my body responds to different types of food and how timing plays a part in my response. Not to mention that I have cycled through all sorts of restricted time eating windows, dealt with troubleshooting electrolytes, brought intermittent fasting into the social setting, and I have found how to make fasting work for me during the normal hormonal changes that women experience during a cycle. Oh yeah, and I have also dealt with all of the changes in the bathroom. It gets fun, and I am sharing it all with you. So make sure to subscribe and click that little bell to receive notifications so that you'll know whenever my weekly videos upload. So let's catch up since my first week of fasting. Starting with 18.6, then 24, 23.1, and ultimately alternate day fasting. I have found going into alternate day fasting to be a little nerve-wracking. Lots to talk about in a future video. And since introducing alternate day fasting, I have settled on 5-2, the modified version of alternate day fasting. And I have continued to cycle through the different windows of time-restricted eating the rest of the week. So here's what I've found. Building my fasting muscle has been a process that has not been one of my favorites.
Hey everyone, quick pop-in update. So I'm working on my week 20-hour window a week, and I gotta say, I'm not loving it. I really haven't had that same steady energy that I had the first couple of weeks. I feel like I'm sleeping in longer. I wake up and I don't feel all that refreshed. Yeah, the coffee helps, but really when I'm looking at the comparison of 16 to 18 to now 20 hours of fasting, 20 hours really isn't up to par. And it could be that I'm only on day 3 of my week. I need to give myself a little bit more time, maybe focus on electrolytes a little bit more. We'll see how it goes. But so far, 20 is not my favorite.
Hi everyone. This is a quick update on my 23-1 fasting week. It is Wednesday and this week could not end any sooner, you guys. I am so over week 23-1. It's not so much the energy or waking up and not feeling ready to go. It's more so I have to wait all day to eat. That has been really, really hard. Found myself comparing it to Christmas, which I know it's Christmas, very, very different, but on a very condensed scale. So you spend the entire day planning what you're going to eat. You have the anticipation, you have the buildup, and then when your window hour is finally here, everything tastes amazing. And that 1 hour is great. But then just like that, Christmas is over, and just like your window, it's closed and you have to wait another 23 hours to experience that again. That is the longest amount of time, I feel like, as far as getting that build up and the reward. The reward is much too short for all of that build up. I am really looking forward to starting next week and doing alternate day fasting, because at that point I feel that I will have a good chunk of time to actually enjoy my meals. That's the other piece, is that I rush through my meals because I only have that 1 hour in which to consume them, that I feel so full. My stomach feels uncomfortable. I feel like I can't really converse with anyone because I'm taking in this food and my body is adjusting to having that large volume of food when I've been fasting all day. And the experience, the food tastes great, but the experience is not. But if I'm handing out any tips, this is a big one. Every time I lengthen my window, I struggled for a few days, but ultimately the second half of the week got a whole lot easier. I would never recommend jumping into an extended fast right out of the gate, unless you have superhuman willpower or never get hangry. I don't fit into either of those categories. And although I'm one of those people that once I'm in, I'm all in, and there's no in between. But even I recognized that that was a form of self-sabotage, because the cravings in the early days can get the best of you, and nothing will get you to throw in the towel sooner than to go up against binge fest after binge fest, because you're so darn hungry. And even though taming the hunger beast is a bit of a challenge, what I noticed almost right away, it was something that shocked the hell out of me, was that I started to regain those fullness signals. You know, the signals that only come knocking when you've put away a decent amount of food or you're uncomfortably full. I've bulldozed through my own signals years ago. And before I started intermittent fasting, I could demolish every bite of food on my plate before moving on to a plate of pancakes for dessert, because you've all heard me say I love breakfast. So imagine how startled I was when I first became full after eating half of the food on my plate in just a few days. That's right. On day 6 is when I first started to notice that I didn't feel like a bottomless pit just as soon as my window opened. And day 13 is when my stomach grumblings really just started to become a dull complaint that I could easily ignore. Trust me, it gets easier, and it is so worth it. Hey everyone, quick pop in, because I'm actually supposed to be in the kitchen making dinner for the family, but I had to share this. So as you know, I've been journaling my process, and earlier in the day, I had to stop what I was doing and jot down how I was feeling. So I want to share this journal entry with you. Can I just say how freeing intermittent fasting is? All I have to do is fast for whatever time I choose and my body is comfortable with, and I can eat what I want, because the majority of the time, the food that I want is healthy and makes me feel great, and I can still indulge on occasion. I don't need to have impossible standards for myself, and I feel healthy. I am enjoying my experience so damn much because of how I feel, the energy underlined that I have for the first time ever, and it is so freeing. I can do this. I can lose the weight. I feel so empowered. I think that pretty much says it all. I have been feeling amazing today. That energy, my mood, it's been such a great experience, and it was something that I needed to share with all of you. And even though I have quite a bit of ways to go before I get to my goal weight, a 40-pound weight loss is looking pretty good from where I'm sitting. It is really the difference between where I was at before versus where I'm at today. And I am in love with the changes that I am seeing. And for those of you wondering what my eating habits look like, the philosophy that I have embraced is the 80-20, which means that 80% of the time I try to eat healthy, but 20% of the time is handed over to the types of foods that just make my taste buds light up. But the 80-20 rule does not apply to when I first break my fast. I am super mindful of the foods that I choose to open my window. I have found that if I eat a bag of chips, for example, a pastry or a bagel, that's it. The cravings kick in. And the fullness signals that I was raving about earlier go from up close and personal, loud and clear, to being preoccupied with something in the corner. I need a healthy balance to rein in those cravings. Protein and healthy fats get me started on the right foot. The right portions of these two kick me right out of the ultra feast mode. And then I ease up going into dinner with absolutely no problem. I have also kept a food diary, however, because it is way too easy to skew those numbers. The food pics that I snag don't lie, and I have found it to be helpful when I am troubleshooting any blips on the scale. And really, I eat close to the same way that I did when I started 40 pounds ago. The amount of food that I can put away now, though, has changed. Here are examples of the types of foods that I enjoyed while cycling through the different forms of time-restricted eating. As you can see, there are no restrictions and nothing has been off the table. The next thing that I'm sure has piqued everyone's curiosity is what I do for exercise, if anything. Up until now, my exercise has consisted of getting out there and getting my steps. Hi everyone, it is a gorgeous spring day and I'm getting ready to take these two on a walk. I am ready to release those feel-good endorphins and to melt away any possible stressors that are hanging around. These guys are ready to go. We'll see you later. I try to hit 10,000 steps daily and the majority of those steps outdoors. I hit the 10,000 mark the majority of the time, but I make it a point to not stress over it if I fall short on some days. I was averaging 5,000 steps per day prior to starting, and I did say up until now, because I do have plans to change my exercise routine. Increasing muscle mass is going to help further my metabolism, and I want to work on toning what I have. I also have plans to cover the skin changes that I have experienced, not to mention my personal battle with cellulite. It's a secret, not so secret shame that I have dealt with for many years. I plan to tackle this problem head on. So let me know in the comments if this is something that you would like to see. So there is so much more to share about my weight loss process, but no worries. I will be doing follow-up videos focused specifically on the topics that I mentioned earlier, along with so much more. And because I have received so many questions about where to start with intermittent fasting since I began my own personal journey, I'll be covering all things important to get you started off on the right foot in the next video. I'll see you in the next one.